Hey everyone, it's Shawnee from Tula Yoga and Jiu-Jitsu coming to you from out of my home. We're going to do a little R&R yoga tonight, a nice, peaceful, relaxing practice to end your evening and get ready for bed so you can hopefully rest really well. For this video, you are going to want a couple blocks if you have them and a bolster if you have it. If you don't have either, you can use a couple big fluffy comforters or blankets and maybe a few pillows, and we can prop you up that way as well. And then also a strap or a belt. And if you enjoy listening to music, go ahead and turn on some relaxing music. We're going to go ahead and get started. Just close your eyes. Settle into your yoga practice. Check in with your body. Make sure your hips feel even on the ground. If they don't, maybe grab a blanket or move your sitting bones back in space. Check in with your spine. Make sure you feel upright, lengthening through the crown of your head. Gently draw your shoulder blades back. Hover your shoulder blades over your hips. And then tune into your breath. If you're new to yoga, we use belly breathing, which is just a way to help you visualize filling up your lungs entirely. So on your inhale, you're going to breathe into your belly. And you can allow your belly to expand. And then on your exhale, you'll squeeze the air out from your belly first. On your inhale, breathe into your belly. Belly expands, middle of the ribs expand, maybe up into the chest. And on the exhale, squeeze the air out. And then just continue this cycle. And then to add a little bit more to your breathing, we're going to practice a mantra. So very easy, classic mantra. On your inhale, you're going to think, I am. And then on your exhale, whatever it is that you need today, in this moment. So maybe it's I am peace. Or I am happiness. Or love. So continuing with your belly breaths. Thinking I am on the inhale. Peace on the exhale. I am love. I am joy. And we'll take just a few more breaths. And then from here, you can keep your eyes closed or open your eyes and keep a soft gaze. We're going to rock our torsos forward and then make a big circle, rocking it back. And then complete that circle. This starts to warm up the spine and the hips, even into the shoulders a little bit. And then the next time you make your way forward, you're going to switch directions. It's going the opposite way, opposite direction. And then from here, sit up nice and tall. Lengthen through the crown of your head like somebody has a little string and they're pulling it straight up. Take your left hand back behind you, right hand to your knee. Abdominals draw in, little twist over to the left. And exhale, unravel, do the opposite side. And then come back to center. Switch the cross of your legs. Take your hands out in front of you, bend your elbows, palms face one another. We're going to do cactus arms. So open up into your cactus or field gold arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together, broaden in your heart, and you're allowing yourself to come into a little bit of a back bend here. And maybe even gaze up at the ceiling without dropping your head and neck completely. And then exhale, you're going to scoop your belly in, squeeze out all the air, bring the arms back together and round your back. And then inhale, open back up, squeeze your shoulder blades, look up at the ceiling. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do one more inhale to open. And come back to center. This time, take your left hand out onto the ground. Left hand onto the ground. Inhale, sweep your right hand up and over. Walk your left hand out a little ways. Keep your right hip planted on the ground. Inhale, come back to center. Do the other side. Walk the hand out. Opposite hip stays planted. Sitting bone stays planted. And inhale back to center. Now we're going to make our way onto hands and knees. If you like a blanket or a little pad underneath your knees, go ahead and grab your blanket. All right, so from here, walk your hands forward just about a hand's length or so. And then we're going to come into, I can never remember if it's thread the needle or eye of the needle, but one of the two. We're going to reach one hand out to the side, and then you're going to sweep it underneath the opposite arm, and you're coming onto your elbow. So you're going to get a twist in the upper body. Your side of your face lays on the ground. And as you twist here, think about plugging your top shoulder blade into your bottom shoulder blade. And don't forget to breathe. Inhale, come back to center. And we'll do the other side. Sweep the opposite hand out underneath the arm. Come onto the side of the arm, side of the face. Plug the top shoulder blade into the bottom shoulder blade. And as you do, you're twisting in the torso. Not holding your breath. And on an inhale, come right back up to center. Hands stay where you started. Toes curl under, lift your hips up and back. This is as high as we're going to get off the ground today. Start by pedaling out your feet. Shake out your hips. And then pause with one leg straight, other leg bent. And your straight leg, lift the hip. Pedal out your feet a little bit more. And then bend the opposite leg. And then again on the straight leg, lift that hip. Hiking it up in space. And pedal the feet out. We're going to take 3 big breaths here in our downward dog. Inhaling in through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. If you want, you can move with me here in your upper body. Otherwise, just stay in downward dog. So we're going to inhale. If you're going to move with me, roll forward into an almost plank. And exhale, sink back into it. Inhale, roll forward, almost plank. Exhale, sink back into it. And exhale out of your mouth. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then from here, inhale, come back onto hands and knees. Bring your hands under your shoulders this time. And we're going to circle the hips. So just start to draw circles with your hips going one direction. And then you're going to let that movement travel up your spine. It looks a little weird, feels a little weird, but I'm the one being recorded. So just have at it. And then maybe you could let your head get into it a little bit. And then you're going to pause and go the opposite direction. Don't think about it too much. All right, from here back to center. Walk your hands forward again, about a hand's length. And you should from here be able to lean forward on your knees. And then we're going to drop the elbows to the ground. So I'm a little bit taller. I might have to walk my hands out a little bit further. And then elbows drop to the ground. Heart stays open. We're going to place the elbows underneath the shoulders. Coming into Sphinx pose. Check out how your shoulders are doing here. We don't want to be hunched. Roll your shoulders back. Plant your pelvis into the ground. Plant your pinky toes, tops of your feet, into the ground. Head is the tricky part. We like to look up at the ceiling, but that creates less space in the back of the neck. So drop the chin, lengthen through the crown of the head. We're going to hold it for a couple more breaths. And then from here. Now you're going to turn one of your arms towards your other one. So your forearm will be parallel to the front of your mat. opposite leg bends. So we're going to go for half bow pose here. If you can't reach back and easily grab the top of your foot, you can use a strap. Straps are our friends, or a belt, just a belt that you wear. Now we want to work, even if we're using the belt here, you want to work to keep the shoulder rolling over. When it dips, that's when we start to close off, start to create some issues for our shoulder. So shoulder rolls back. Without the strap, if you have a little more space and if your toes aren't sensitive, take your hand to the top of your foot and then turn your fingers rather towards your head. Keep rolling the shoulders back. Keep breathing. All right, from here, exhale and release. We're going to take a counter pose, a little resting pose in a crocodile or a relaxed crocodile. So just stack your hands, forehead comes to the ground. Some people find release in the low back by turning the toes towards each other. And take one more full inhale, full exhale. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back up, starting in Sphinx, elbows under shoulders, starting with the heart open. Then you're going to turn the opposite hand so that it's parallel with the front of your mat. Opposite leg bends, reach back, grab the top of the foot, or loop it with a strap. And again, keep the shoulders open. You can think about shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears and rolling them back. Collarbones broad. And then if you want that deeper stretch, palm comes to the top of the foot, and then you're going to turn the toes. I keep saying toes. Turn the fingers towards the front of your mat, towards your head. It's a great stretch in not only the quadricep, but in the shoulders as well. Pectoral muscles. And then when you're ready, exhale to release and take your counter pose one more time. Forehead to the ground or cheek to the ground. And when we have these moments of rest, come back to your mantra. I am peace. I am love. I am joy. All right, then from here, we're going to do a little, you've done it at the wall before probably. It's a pectoral stretch. So you're going to start with one arm. You're going to take it out from your shoulder at 45-degree angles. So 90-degree would be straight out. 45 degrees is going to be a little more at an angle. And here's where it's really super important to keep that shoulder rolled back. So dip it. Go ahead, dip it towards the ground. Now roll it back, creating length in the side of your neck, space between the top of your shoulder and ear. And you're going to want to keep that because now we're going to roll opposite direction away from that hand. use the opposite hand to press into the ground to support yourself. The knees, feet can roll as well. So I'll show it from this side. So hand is at a 45-degree angle. Opposite hand, you're going to use it to turn. And remember that shoulder's rolled back. Don't forget to inhale. And don't forget to exhale. And when you're ready, exhale, roll out of it. Take a crocodile pose, forehead or cheek to the ground. All right, and then opposite side, again, arm at 45-degree angle. Roll that shoulder back. Use the opposite hand to start to turn. And you might have to play a little bit with placement. Few more breaths. When you're ready, roll out of it. One more time. Crocodile pose. And now from here, we're going to come back up onto hands and knees. Before you come up onto hands and knees, again, roll those shoulders back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, navel draws in, press up to knees. Then from here, take knees wide and take a child's pose. I like to settle into my child's pose before I relax my head onto the ground by using my hands to push my hips back a little bit deeper. Kind of wiggle around a little bit. And then forehead to the ground, or forehead to a block, or a blanket. And then one more breath. Next, inhale, come back onto hands and knees. We're going to take a downward dog. Toes curl under, hips lift up and back. And take 3 full inhales, 3 full exhales. And then from here, you're going to take one foot, lift it off the ground, cross it behind the opposite leg, and sink back into your downward dog again. Other side, uncross. And uncross, inhale, back to center, back onto hands and knees. And then we're going to make our way onto our backs. So take a seat. Here's where a strap is going to be really super handy. So you're going to want to take your strap, loop it around the ball of your right foot. You want to try to get the back of your head flat on the ground. Might have to wiggle a ponytail around. And then you're going to straighten your leg. Opposite leg, you can keep the knee bent with the foot on the ground, but if you're comfortable straightening the leg, then you can go ahead and do that as well. The bent leg is going to get in the way of our last position. And we're going to take about 5 breaths in each position here. And think about drawing the strap back towards your face. Press up through the heel if you need a deeper stretch. And now from here, you're going to take both sides of the strap in the right hand, or whatever leg you have lifted, same hand. Take your opposite hand out to the side, and then slowly lower your leg, taking it out wide. Now opposite hip, it's gonna raise up a little bit. If it's more than an inch off the ground, that means you're just opening your leg up a little too much. So you want to engage the abdominals and draw the leg up a little bit higher and lower the opposite hip just a little bit. But we don't need to force that hip all the way down to the ground. Same thing here, you can think about drawing that strap back up in the direction of your head. Just a few more breaths. And then inhale, bring the leg back to center. So here's where if you have your knee bent and your foot on the ground with the opposite leg, where it's going to get in the way. So if you can, straighten the leg. If that's really uncomfortable, just keep the leg straight. We're going to slowly lower, take the strap in the opposite hand, and then slowly lower the leg over. Now your hip's going to rise here. You can allow the hips to twist a little bit. Inhale, bring the strap back to center. You're going to lift the opposite leg up to meet the lifted leg. Strap goes around the ball of the foot. Slowly lower the other leg down. Again, press up through the heel of the straight leg. And slowly draw that strap back if you need a little bit more of a stretch. And then we'll take the strap out wide, the leg out wide. Focusing on your deep belly breaths. Inhale, leg back to center. And start to cross the leg. Inhale, come back to center. Move your strap aside. Draw your knees in towards your chest. And just rock side to side. Or maybe just be still. And we're going to start to set up for our final two poses. So either roll to one side and then push yourself up to seated. Or if it feels okay on your spine, you can rock up. All right. So for our final pose, second to last pose, I should say. If you have a bolster, great, but if not, I'll show you how to prop. If you're going to be using your bolster, you're going to use the lowest block, I guess closest to your body, and the highest block behind it, only about an inch or so. Too far away and it won't be stable. So that's how we'll set up if you have a bolster and if you have blocks. If you don't have either of those, we'll use what we got. Big thick comforter or two, maybe a couple blankets or pillows. We're just going to stack it up. In this case, it doesn't have to be super even. You want it to be higher on the end that is further from you. So we're going to do a twisted, like a twisted forward fold. So when you sit up to your stack of props, you're going to sit like a mermaid with your knees to one side. Torso will be facing your props. So then you're just going to fold over your props. Kind of hug onto them. Head can face either direction. Facing towards the same direction as your knees is going to be a little bit less of a twist. Some people like to put their head forward, but you can kind of cover the mouth, or you can turn away. And we're going to hold here for several breaths. So come to your belly breathing, or your mantra. And then keeping your gaze soft, you're going to slowly start to sit up. And we're going to switch directions. So knees point the opposite direction. And then you'll fold over your props one more time. And again, keep your gaze soft. Make your way up to seated. We're going to reposition the props for the final pose. For this, you'll want your bolster or your blankets underneath your knees. And we'll lie back in Shavasana, supported Shavasana. Again, you want your head flat on the ground. So move around those ponytails. And before you settle completely into your pose, repeat your mantra to yourself just a few more times. I am, on the inhale, peace on the exhale. And expand your belly completely on your inhale. Squeeze the air out on the exhale. I am peace. And so continue to stay here for at least 5 minutes. But as long as 15 or 20 minutes. If you're doing this in the evening with me, don't be surprised if you fall asleep. Namaste.